Hello, and welcome to another episode of Carnivore Evolution. I'm your host, Victoria Olson. Here's Mark Ennis with us as well. And today our guest is Shaun from Sydney, Australia, who has a marvelous story to tell about the recovery of his vision through the carnivore diet. Shaun has a YouTube channel called Eyes on Carnivore, and we'd like to welcome you to the show, Shaun. Hello, welcome.
Hello, Victoria. Hello, Mark. Good morning. I'm not exactly in Sydney, about
Yeah.
2 hours north of Sydney, an hour and a bit. But yeah, so thank you for inviting me on. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
We are too. I'd like to start you off with finding out a little bit about your history and the extent of your vision condition before you started carnivore.
Yeah,
If you
great
would.
question. Yep. So in 2006, I was working as a computer programmer in Sydney, and I was having some problems with my vision then and had been for a couple of years. And I was diagnosed as legally blind in 2006 with a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which is a genetic based condition. Although I have to say, much like a lot of other genetic based conditions, if you have that mutant gene, doesn't necessarily mean that you will get the symptoms. So it's not exactly all genetics. So in 2008, I quit my job, and for the next X amount of years, I basically retired. In 2011, I started up a company called Stem Cell Treatment Solutions, and I was determined, even back then, to try to figure out how to help my vision, perhaps help other people as well. But the stem cell solution, if you like, hasn't really panned out. Although I just have to say, I think there's great promise with stem cells, and certainly as people get older, you need more stem cells. I think what we're aiming towards is more differentiation, being able to turn a stem cell into the target cell. Anyhow, so in 2023, I had been possibly was it about 4 years, 5, 6 years into some hip pain, general aches and pains, so anxiety and depression. And I actually went to a car racing event, and my race car was in, and I just for the weekend, I was just in so much pain. I couldn't enjoy the event, and I decided, well, I've got to do something about this. So something entered the back of my mind, and the thought that happened in the back of my mind was arthritis is caused by inflammation, and inflammation is caused by sugar. I really don't know where that thought came from, but
Hmm.
I immediately went to my phone and started, pressing buttons. At that point, I couldn't see the phone, so I'm just talking to it, trying to get it to bring up anti-inflammatory diets.
Mm-hmm.
So I found some anti-inflammatory diets, vegan, vegetarian, were not really interesting to me, but I found keto. So I decided I'll do keto. So I did that. I did that without much background research, so I got pretty interesting effects. I didn't have any of the constipation, diarrhea problems, but I did have quite a lot of electrolyte, um, the keto flu, I think. But I think that's actually more for me, oxalate dumping that occurred and still does occur from time to time. So that was 11th of June 2023. I started the diet, and within 6 weeks, I realised my eyesight was getting better, pain was starting to go away. So I thought, well, yeah, this is good. How good can it get? And I started coming across carnivore information, which I had sort of heard about, but immediately dismissed. Like most people will dismiss something that does sound a little bit crazy, a bit against the narrative. But I thought, well, I'll look into it a little bit further, and decided to go, more into keto, more meat. I just gradually cut down the vegetables till I basically got to a few beans left in the fridge, which were going off anyhow. So I chucked them and just ate meat. and because the freezer was full, and the I think 6 weeks, the 6 week mark, I went and got an eye test, and I got a 6/30 -2 in my right eye, and some hand movements in my left eye, which is great because in 2018 I went and had an eye test. So some years before, 5 years, and I got no results in the eye chart, no
Really?
hand movements. Yeah, so
Wow.
5 years prior, I didn't have any results. So they did find I had cataracts, and the decision was made to remove the cataract in one eye and then do the other eye. But in the meantime, my vision. I just want to explain this a little bit. So I got a 30 -2, and then I got a 48, and then a 60. So in a short amount of time, my eyesight improved, but actually got a little bit worse. And then I had the cataract operation, and then things started to improve even more. So the smaller the number, the better. The smaller the number, I'm going to read out the smaller the letters on the chart. So I think after the cataract operation, I got a 21, 6/21, and then I got an 18, and these are all some weeks apart. Then I got a 15, and then I
Wow.
think August, September, October, November, December. So about 4 months after the cataract operation, I got a 6/12 -2. Um, and then that was going into 2024. And 2024, my eyesight kept on improving. And I found out that the cataract operation will only give you some benefit maybe for a few weeks. After a few weeks, you'll get the benefit. But there's no ongoing incremental benefit resulting from a cataract operation. It's like you've got a clear lens, good for you, go for it. So what's been happening for me is that I've had continual, gradual, ongoing improvements. So the start of 2024, left eye still only hand movements, not getting anything on the chart, but right eye was improving. So 6/12 -2, 6/12 -1, 6/12. And then I started onto the 9 line, so 6/9.
Wow. Wow.
Then and now I'm in 2025. So at the start of this year, 2025, I'm still getting 6/9s in my right eye, but in my left eye, I actually got 3 letters at the start of this year.
Mm.
They're all looking very squiggly, but that's seeing something is better than nothing. So
Yeah,
my left eye
absolutely.
seems to have been improving as well, which kind of flies in the face of the idea that it's the brain that's doing the processing. How does one eye improve compared to the other eye? I don't really know.
Hmm.
But throughout 2025, we're in October now, and my last test or second last test was a 6/7.5 -2. So I've
Wow.
gone from the very, very top of the chart down to the second last line on the eye chart in my right eye, which is absolutely phenomenal. And
Yes.
as you can imagine, I've been trying to figure out why this has occurred. Because if I'm able to figure out why, then I should be able to target the repair process for myself and potentially help other people as well. Not just with my particular condition, retinitis pigmentosa. From
Mm.
my findings to date, it seems to be that all forms of eye problems seem to get some benefit from high level ketosis and the carnivore diet's the Mac Daddy of doing that. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's excellent. Excellent.
Mm.
So
Did you
that's it.
have any lens frosting after your cataract surgery? Was there any
Yep. So
side
I
effect?
had
Yeah.
some, yeah. So I had some frosting in both lenses. Um, it actually wasn't picked up in my right eye because the right eye had the operation more than a year before the left eye was done, and yeah. So I had some frosting which was taken care of, and
Hmm.
so that's all been
So that's cleared
done.
out of the way. Yeah.
Mm,
Very
yeah,
good.
so
Wow.
now I'm just dealing with the idea that I need to have glasses for things up close. My
Mm.
focal length is about 2.5, 3 meters or so. So anything 2.5 to 3 meters away, I don't need glasses for.
Mhm.
But for things up close, like today, obviously I had to do this on the computer, which, by the way, I did totally by myself. I'm here by myself today. So I had to log
Yes.
into the website. I had to sign up. I had to attach the microphone, allow the video, allow the microphone, allow everything. So,
Excellent.
so that's going from someone that could use a computer um, professionally in my career to someone that was just able to do email, but not much else. There was a few websites that I used to go to, but they had a button where you could click and it would read the article to you. Now I read everything. I can read everything on the computer. I'm able to read things on the phone. Previously, I wasn't able to see anything on the phone. It's just a
Oh,
blur.
it's wonderful.
So things like the thumbs up, thumbs down button, I didn't even know they existed. And being able to actually go and click on the thumbs up, thumbs down
Mhm.
Amazing.
is
Amazing.
great.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
really is great.
wonderful results.
Mm.
I'm so excited to hear this. Now, I know from viewing your videos that you did at one point look into the ketone monitors and
Mm,
fasting. Could you tell us a little bit about your experiment with that?
sure. So I think the backstory is I'm trying to figure out what is causing this improvement, why. And it appears to be changing the fuel source. So the fuel source is now beta hydroxybutyrate,
Mm.
which the liver makes out of fat through the liver. BHB, beta hydroxybutyrate. So this BHB is not just a fuel source. It's a ketone, but
Mm.
it's also an anti-inflammatory. It works on the NLRP3 inflammasome, I think.
Yeah.
NLRP2 maybe. So it's an antioxidant, which is great. It's also a fuel source, and it's an epigenetic signaling molecule. So, like I alluded to before, I have a genetic disease, but I think what happens is genetic loads the gun, but epigenetics pulls the trigger. That's the only way I could sort of figure why
That's a great analogy.
some people have the genetic marker, but they don't get that disease. Very specifically, BRCA1 gene, there's breast cancer, BRCA1. So
Yeah.
50% of people that have the BRCA1 gene get cancer. So why don't the other 50% get it? So there must be
Mm.
some other factor going on, and I believe it's epigenetics.
Mm.
Wow.
So if I'm changing the landscape, I'm changing my fuel source, I'm having all these things working in my favor. My my understanding is that I've not only been able to create some repair processes, but also my brain's working better. So it's 70% of your brain's dedicated to processing the vision, your visual cortex. So 70% of your brain, that's quite a lot of processing going to one specific thing. And so yeah, this is why I think there's a bit of a commonality with people with not just my condition, with diabetic retinopathy, with glaucoma,
Mm.
with other eye conditions, macular degeneration, even. There all seem to be some sort of inflammation process. So remove the inflammation process,
Mm.
remove the oxidation, change your fuel source, change your epigenetics, change your landscape. And I believe that people of all ages with all sorts of eye conditions will be able to improve their brain, which improves your eyesight. Simple.
Well,
Wow.
honestly, that's amazing because I've never heard of something like this ever. I've never heard of that the condition can be improved through the carnivore lifestyle. So this is all new to me. So this is just fascinating, and it doesn't surprise me because I've done many podcasts and I've heard so many people's stories, incredible stories, and yours is going to be another one. And just it's absolutely incredible how much information out there people don't know about this. It's unbelievable. Like it really is.
Mm, yep.
It's just it's like it's when you think about it, when you're talking about the brain and what we're currently feeding the brain at the moment with the processed food, seed oils, sugars, and we're talking about the brain and how it's made. It's made of fat. 70% of your brain is made of fat, but we're feeding it sugar.
Mm.
Nobody is telling us that this is the wrong information, which is absolutely scary, absolutely
Well,
frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Sean's been bringing it to his doctors. He's got several videos about telling his doctors, and they all seem to be a bit cool and standoffish about it being anything other than some subjective reaction that he's had.
Mm.
Sean, can you please tell us how and what you've told your physicians, because you certainly must see some specialists for
Mm.
your
Yeah.
condition.
Yeah. So yeah, in my plight, if you like, to figure out what's going on, I've gone to the number one guy in Australia, Professor John Grigg. I've gone to a neuro-ophthalmologist just recently, a Dr. Dennis Lowe.
Mm.
Um, I've been to a number of ophthalmologists and optometrists. I've got all the scans done. And I think there's just one fellow, my main optometrist, that's really interested. He's really keen. And he's just the guy that does glasses.
Mm.
Another fellow who did some imaging tests on, I've been sending him information. He actually blatantly said to me, it's like, I didn't believe you. It's like, what? I'm sending him the reports from this other doctor. So
Mm.
what he's saying is, I didn't believe the other doctor.
Mm.
Huh.
I didn't believe you. I didn't believe the other doctor. So, that not only are they not sort of thinking about it, they don't even believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Professor John Grigg, I think he was sort of thinking that there's something going on, but he needs more information. So I will be going back to him and doing tests at his site, so at his location, because I think what I'm coming across is every different testing site that I go to, every testing location, they're all different. The
Mm.
charts are at different levels, the lights are different, the way they project the visual acuity test is
Mm.
all different. So you can go from one optometrist to another and you'll get a completely different test result. So what I need to do is go back to these doctors after a period of time and go, I've redone the test, it's improved at this location. Now you start talking, tell me why it's improved, because for my condition there is no such thing as an improvement,
Mm.
and
Have your
there's no
sorry.
cure.
Have your doctors
Sorry.
done digital examinations of your eyes? Because I notice now at the optometrist they have the scanners that go in. They take a photograph
Yes.
of your retina. So do you
Yes.
have
So
a
I've
baseline, let's
got
say, and comparative?
digital photography of my eyes going back to 2006, and I've done probably 5 or 6 different types, different lots of imaging in the past couple of years. Because every time I do testing, I get I get an improvement, and I need to be able to go to back to these doctors and just keep on showing up. I think that's the only thing I can do. Mm. The best thing about it, though, I am now in some vision impaired groups, and I'm starting to get a little bit of traction there. I have to admit, I've been kicked out of a few groups, and I've left a few because they just, they won't approve my posts.
Mm.
So there's
Hello,
just
I'm
no
sorry,
point.
dropped out. How do they? What does inflammation look like on one of those digital scans, and or the difference between being inflamed and being in ketosis and not inflamed?
It's a good question. I don't really know. Having kept all the results myself since 2006, I'm hoping to be able to use AI and some of its tools to be able to feed the images in and see if it can give me some feedback. Because at this point, I'm not getting any interest from the medical community, so I might as well
Wow.
try to figure stuff out myself.
Oh,
Mm.
that's shocking to me that they wouldn't be jumping on this. So you certainly must have a group of people that have become aware of what you've experienced and have
Mm.
similar experiences and are trying it. Do you have that kind of situation going on now?
Sure. So on my channel, I've got a playlist. I've actually got many playlists, but there's one in particular. People on the carnivore diet reporting vision improvements. There's over 70 people there. I started doing it about February, March this year, so it's only been about 6 months. So in 6 months, I've collected more than 70 people. This is just me watching all the way through a video, which I don't
Mm.
always have the time to do, in order to hear people saying, "Oh yeah, my eyesight's improved. Oh yeah, my eyesight's
Hmm.
improved. Went to my optometrist." So yeah, I've got a group of people um, that have done videos. I've also on the Facebook group, I've got some people that have improved their eyesight. The There's other Facebook groups that I'm in. I'm getting a little bit of traction. The vision impaired groups, but
Hmm.
there's quite a bit of skepticism there as well,
Yes, unfortunately.
and quite a bit of pushback. Um, but all I can do is try to tiptoe through the eggshells, try not to break too many people's um, break their reality because I think, yeah, like myself, I would have thought that diet has very little to play
Hmm.
in my vision problem,
Mm.
and now I know that's actually completely wrong. Diet plays the most critical part in your life for health, the most critical thing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
I think I'll just keep on plugging away and trying to help other people and yeah, try to figure out how to best maximize the healing potential.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow. I'd like to add myself and my husband. I know we spoke about this before we started the recording. My husband was 78 last year, and he was given a referral to a surgeon to have his cataracts removed. They were that bad, and
Mm.
he was seeing yellow instead of where he used to see clearly. And he had me reading labels for him, and he was missing things when he was doing things around the house, and he put it off. He got the referral, I think, in March, and he put it off. And finally, this year, he went back to get an eye exam, and he's getting the digital exams. And
Mm.
they didn't mention the cataracts. He said, "Should I go get my cataracts removed?" And they said, "What cataracts? You don't have them. There's a little shadow there, and maybe someday you might have them, but they're not there." To go from the point of referring him 1 year last year to have them removed in order to improve his vision, and you have to get to a certain point for that, and then to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's just a shadow there, there's hardly anything, don't worry about it. And I had a very similar
yeah,
situation where I was told I was developing them, and in a year's time I would need to have the surgery. And I
yeah,
went back the following year, and that was last year, for an exam, and was told there's barely a shadow there. There's nothing. Don't worry about it. So this
yeah,
is carnivore after 6 years going on. We're in the seventh year.
yep.
That it
So,
takes a while. It does take a while.
Mm.
mm,
Mm.
and I have heard of people talking about their cataracts clearing up. So you're not unique in that respect as well. For myself, I just did not have any of the information at the time. I mean, I'd barely heard about carnivore. I had not come across any of the influences at that point. So I was going to get the cataract operation done anyhow. And I'm glad I did because I immediately got good results,
Yes.
which translated into ongoing results, years later. So I'm glad I did it. And if anyone's going to ask me, should I do it, yes or no, I don't think I have an answer for that because um, if you're able to avoid having the operation, because now I'm required to wear glasses, anything up to 2 meters. I think my focal length is about 2.5 to 3 meters. So anything under that I need to wear glasses for, which is a bit painful. So had I'd known potentially that the cataracts could have cleared up themselves, I may have waited. But I also may not have continued on with the diet had I not had such spectacular improvements, which is the case.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. It's just wonderful that it's
Mm.
reversed like
Yeah,
that.
no, it's really good to hear. Yeah, it's really good to hear, and especially considering your age as well. You might say a person that's, well, I don't know, their 40s or 50s, for example, having a cataract operation, and but later in life you would say, well, surely, cataract's not going to reverse in their 70s.
Hmm.
Surely you're not going to be able to
Yes.
reverse
Very
your eyesight
surprising.
problems in your 70s.
Yes.
But
Mm.
apparently it's true. So it doesn't matter what age you are, young, old, sex, race, doesn't matter. I'm not special. You're not special. It's just the mere fact that we have ketosis on our side, and we're not
Yes.
using that dirty,
Mm.
disgusting sugar to run our bodies, run the
Exactly.
fuel
Yes.
source of our bodies. It's just crazy thinking about it. It really is.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
wow.
Yeah,
So
you made
glad
it. You
we
made
have
a
it.
very, very good point there, Sean. Because I see this an awful lot myself. Like people
Hmm.
are people my age now. I'm 50 at the moment, but I'm seeing an awful lot of men and women my age, and you can clearly see that they can't drive anymore because of that, because of their eyesight going badly, and they're only
Yeah.
young men, but they're not allowed on the roads.
Yeah.
Like in this country, they won't allow them go and
Right.
get into a car unless they do an eye test, and their eye test is really really bad. And we've had many
Yeah.
many crashes over in this country from people that are in the similar age as myself, um, and they've been taken off the road straight away because of that.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, like these people can't afford to go and see the doctor and get this done because, like over here, you have to pay for the service, and you're talking thousands to get looked after. But something as
Right.
simple as just to look after your diet, remove the inflammation, remove the sugar, remove the seed oils, it can make the world of good. It really can, because you can see that these people are just literally walking around with zombies and they have no more eyesight.
Yep. The zombie apocalypse brought around by food. Who would have thought?
Yeah. And
Mm.
what does your diet look like at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much lion diet every day. I occasionally have some fruit, specifically blueberries, and I cook up frozen blueberries in butter,
Mm-hmm.
but not very often. I don't actually do that during winter. I sort of do the hibernating bear thing. So in winter time, it's just lion diet. Um, January of the year, I'll be doing lion diet for World Carnivore Month. But for the most part, yeah, it's beef and lamb and eggs, some seafood, oysters and prawns I had last night, and some scallops. Bit of dairy. I did go through a stage where I was avoiding dairy because it was causing blurriness. It was causing visual snow. I think I've got a better word for that now. Visual
Really?
snow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was avoiding dairy, but recently I had a bit of an electrolyte imbalance, which which I think was maybe me being a bit magnesium heavy. So to help correct that, I've been consuming a bit more cheese, or consuming cheese, just and loving it too. I have to say,
Yeah.
Oh, I
like
can't
most
have it.
people,
Yes.
yeah, like most people have a bit of dairy. It's like, that's good. I want some more. Let's go.
And
Yeah.
apart
So
Wow.
from
yeah,
the
beef and lamb.
apart from improving your eyesight, like what other benefits have you seen eating this way?
Ooh, I did an hour-long video all about all the benefits, but I started for arthritis. That was the arthritic pain. I was told that I needed a hip replacement, so
Well,
now I can run on the treadmill. I couldn't walk my guide dog across the road. I was
Oh,
without being in pain. So the arthritis is gone. That's cured. Check. Anxiety and depression. So I've had anxiety pretty much all my life. I always put it down to nervous excitement was how I explained it to people.
mm, mm,
but depression as well. And of course, going blind, being in pain, anxious. Yeah, depression's not far behind that. Of course, that's probably something that would happen anyhow.
Mm.
So the anxiety and depression's gone. It actually went pretty quickly. Um, and I find now that I get a little bit anxious from time to time, but it seems to be more related to this electrolyte imbalance. So I get
Mm.
cramps, I get a bit anxious, and I get a thing called chromatopsia, which is an increase in saturated colors. So I actually see colors a little bit brighter when I'm going through this. But and it's only fairly recently that I've been doing this, because I think I overdid the beta hydroxybutyrate electrolyte ketone supplement powders,
Mm.
electrolyte salts, and there is a warning about overdoing BHB, so I did overdo it a bit, but it's part
Interesting.
of the
Yeah.
experiment.
I
Mm.
saw that chromatoxia
Yeah,
video of yours. You were seeing a lot of blue,
yeah, green actually, green, yellowy
green. I'm
green,
sorry, green. Yeah.
and yeah. So the green, and that would be hyperchloropsia. So there's
Mm.
four different types: blue,
Uh-huh.
green, yellow, and red. But yeah, so it seems to have settled down. I retested recently by taking some more BHB and magnesium, and it brought this issue on again. So yeah, I replicated the experiment to make sure what it was. So it's good to be able to replicate things. But yeah, so I think my eyesight will continue to improve. I think I'm done doing tests for the year. I'm going to turn 59 soon. So next year, World Carnivore Month, I'll be Lion Diet, which basically will be just beef.
Mm.
And I'll probably get some testing done on in February next year and see how we're going at that point.
And what
Fingers
and what
Wow.
crossed.
and what are the
Fabulous.
what are the people saying at the moment? What's been the feedback since they've seen your diagnosis improving? Like what's been the feedback?
I want to have that button that Bart K has that makes the cricket sound, because it's crickets. It really is.
Ah, I love
Yeah,
it.
the Yeah,
brilliant.
my optometrist, he's been giving me some good feedback. Yeah, he looks forward to me coming in, because I think I'm pretty much the only one that has improved eyesight for him. But yeah, the rest of them are crickets. I mean, there's one guy that I asked. I don't know if he's even with it. I mean, he's an ophthalmic surgeon, and he's got this growth hanging off his neck. He's fat. He's overweight. He
Oh
can't
my
talk
God.
properly.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and I'm relying on him to do the frosting in my eyes. So,
Oh
so
dear.
yeah, I'm not even going to go there as far as the medical industry, the doctors that I go to.
Mm.
Actually, except for one, my GP. When I first went keto, I went and got some tests with my GP, and I told him I'm doing this keto thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I've heard about that. One of my GP friends is doing it." I
Hmm.
kept on going back to him, and then he announced to me one day, it's like, "I'm doing keto too." It's like,
Wow.
good for you. He's doing keto.
Excellent.
And the next visit, he says, I'm doing keto, but it didn't work. I got constipated. It's like, what? No, you didn't get constipated.
Not on
He said,
keto.
no, I've been drinking the Metamucil. And it's like, right, I know what you do. You think there's something to come out, but it's actually being absorbed. He didn't
Yes.
do any research.
Mm.
This is
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
my GP
yeah.
telling me about his constipation issue that he didn't have, because he's that um, naive in his own knowledge about
Yes.
nutrition. Yeah,
Mm.
so I corrected him, and I've been back to him a few times since. But yeah, I think the last appointment was to get a blood test. I didn't show. I'm not even going to bother.
Hmm.
It seems pointless.
Mm.
That's too bad.
So yeah,
They're slow to catch on.
crickets for the most part, and yeah, cricket's for the most part. Optometrist is interesting. Is interested because I keep going back to him, and yeah, my own GP. I think he may have seen the light, but yeah, who knows?
Mm.
Hmm.
In the future, I think that there will be a lot more interest, because what I'm doing is I'm collecting all the information together. I'm collecting the studies. Like the last one I did was about neuroplasticity and BDNF, and the studies are there. I mean, there's plenty of information to support what I'm saying.
Mm.
So it's just a matter of collating it all, getting it all together, and I think presenting it, and hopefully my case has been written up to be published in the medical literature.
Mm.
It is a bit tricky though, because it's a self-publication, so I'd be the author per se, although I'm not writing it up. It's doctors are doing this.
Mhm.
So that could be something that's happening soon. Also, we're looking at doing a case series. So not just myself, but a few other people that I've identified that might also be able to contribute.
Mm.
So
Wow.
the
Wonderful.
science is there.
Hmm.
Just need to collate it all together and present it in such a way that cannot be refuted. And I think we're starting to get there. We really are.
Do you really think we
Wonderful.
are
Yeah,
though? Because
bigger, brighter future.
do you really think that's where we're going at the
Yep.
moment? Because where we see at the moment, I've interviewed a few people now, and the pushback is unbelievable. They're going on about
Yep.
what's going on in the field and how people are actually curing themselves and healing themselves, but these doctors don't want to know because it's not what they were trained. And we
Hmm.
Yep.
all know that if it does get to that stage where people are healing themselves, then these doctors pretty much very, very quickly, very, very soon won't have a job.
Yeah,
It
unfortunately.
is that. I don't know if they've got that going through the back of their mind at the moment. Um, I think they're still just desperately holding on to the dogma
Mm.
that they must be right and the system must be right. Otherwise, if they come to the realization of reality, they've literally been harming people the whole time, not
Yeah,
helping, harming.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
way it is.
And when you look at what's going to happen
Yeah.
now
So
in the
to answer
next,
your question,
sorry, go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
sorry, to answer, yeah, I was going to say, to answer your question, I think we need to play our cards right, because I think they're going to organise themselves, so we need to get organised as well.
Yeah,
And I'm even thinking this morning, why don't we have all the Carnivore YouTubers in a group where we can discuss and organise ourselves a bit better.
yeah,
Well,
100%.
we
Yeah,
Strategize.
kind of have
definitely.
something like that. We might be able to get that going. I think there's a start of
Right.
that happening right now. So,
Right.
Well, I think
You
that
can
happens.
imagine, yeah. Hmm?
I was just going to say, sorry,
Yes, I
Sean.
was.
I was just going to say that this was that there was actually, I think Stephen Thomas and Richard Smith did one of these like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They did a 24-hour thing on
Hmm.
social media on YouTube, and they got everybody involved. I think they got like something like 30 or 40 people to participate. The likes of Sean Baker, Bart
Mm.
Kay, Dr. Kills, like
Yeah, I
all the big,
recall.
yeah, unbelievable. I think what we should be doing this consistently, probably once or twice a year.
Sure. What I'm aiming at is, imagine if we have all the Carnival YouTubers together, um, and we come up with a strategy for, say, fiber, and we've got a fiber week, we've got a
Yeah.
cholesterol week,
Mm.
and we can all sort of chime into that particular topic. That's just an idea, I guess, but I think coordination might be something that we could take advantage of in the future to help combat the what the medical industry might put together. Because
Mm. Mm.
at this point, they're really sort of in my mind, they're really plucking at straws. You know,
Mm,
they don't have much to base it on,
Yeah.
but they will maybe in the future. So we need to be careful.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Agreed.
that's.
Wow. Well,
Can I ask you guys a couple of questions?
Go
sure.
ahead.
What started you, Mark and Victoria? What started you into carnivore? I mean, Victoria, 7 years ago. That's quite a time, and I don't think the popularity was around 7 years ago. How did you get to
No.
start?
In 2014, my husband had what appeared to be a heart attack, and he was hospitalized and ended up getting 4 stents in his coronary artery because they were shredded, literally. And the problem had stemmed from him taking ibuprofen for pain from having been on statins for something like 20 some odd years, 25 years to that point. He'd been on them since the
Yeah,
80s. And every day it was ibuprofen several times a day. And he was about 50, 60 pounds overweight and was told you need to lose the weight. So when he came home from the hospital, looked at me and said, I've got to go on a diet. And I said, what do you want to do? He goes, let's do Dr. Atkins, because he had success on Dr. Atkins. So we followed through on that, and we
right.
found it wasn't quite doing what we needed it to do. So in searching Dr. Atkins, I found keto. And then we started keto, doing the 20 grams of carbs a day. And we weren't losing as much weight as we lost about 50 pounds. Both of us had gone up in weight
Mm,
because we enjoyed our eating. And
Hmm.
there was 3 years on keto, and then we graduated into carnivore because being in that carnivore space, a ketogenic space on YouTube, I was seeing Dr. Sean Baker, and it really intrigued me. And I wanted to try it, and I figured it wasn't such a big leap. So I started it in December of 2017, and he was still on vegetables, but we cut the vegetables in 2018 and then went right into it. And it's been a
Right.
success for us ever since, and we're very happy we made the change. But things
Great. What about
improved,
you, Mark?
you know.
Okay, mine is
Hmm.
quite similar. I grew up with an eating disorder all my life. I was anorexic at one stage. I was obese at one stage, but I all suffered with my mental health. To the point where I was suicidal so many times, didn't want to be here. So when I came into the carnivore, it was pretty much the last diet because I've been in the fitness industry for over 30 years. I thought I knew it all. I thought I knew how to eat properly. I used to coach people this way. But like I said, my mental health was getting bad every year, and I was trying to teach people how to look after their mental health. And then one night, I was like, okay, I've had enough. I've had enough. And I came across this podcast, and this guy just spoke about carnivore, and that was 5 years ago. Literally changed my life. Best thing I've ever done.
Yep.
It's improved my mental health. It's improved not just my mental health, like I can't explain. I just feel better. Like I feel younger. I'll be 52 now, next month. And it's just
Yeah.
incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And like this is what really frustrates me when I hear people talking about the carnivore diet and they're convinced that it's just a diet, it's just another fad. And I'm like, well, you haven't heard Sean's
Hmm.
story, you haven't heard Victoria's story. There are millions of people out there that have unbelievable inspirational stories. Myself and Victoria have interviewed well over 100 people at this stage now, and both on this podcast and
Yep.
another podcast. And it's just honestly, it's incredible. And we always said, myself and Victoria, the reason why we're doing these podcasts is to spread awareness. That's what it's
Yep.
all about. It's just to
Yep.
get people out
Absolutely.
there and listen to what the likes of yourself and other people who are spreading this message, because people need to hear this. And I think the most important thing about these podcasts is we're giving people hope.
Yep. Yep.
That's what it all comes down
Absolutely,
to.
Mark. And hmm, yep. I think that word hope is something that I think I'd almost lost it. If not, I'd lost it entirely. I'm not even sure. But hope is something that can drive you to do things.
Mm.
Losing hope is something that drive you to drink, really. But
I mean, at
yeah,
the end,
no, I love
at the
that.
end,
Thank you.
at the end of the day, I can probably say for all three of us now, we're actually looking forward to getting older. Whereas if you ask the average
Yes.
person in
Yes.
their 40s and 50s, they're probably dreading getting older because they're suffering, they're on medication,
Mhm.
their eyesight is gone, their hips are gone, they're walking around like zombies. So
Yeah,
you know, I mean, this is the reason why their mental health turns to shit. Whereas I can't wait to see
yeah,
what I can do now in the next 10, 20, 30 years.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can resonate with that because I'm looking forward to telling people I've turned 60 so
Yeah,
they can have the reactions like, oh, you look pretty good for 60.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
That's something to look forward
Yes,
to.
you do.
yeah,
Next year,
yeah.
that'll be me.
100%. That's what it's all about. It's about aging
Mm.
the right way now, and it's just about like, okay, now we know what the fountain of youth is. It just comes down to what you're putting into your body, plain and simple.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Yeah. The fuel source. Yep, what you put in the fuel, what fuel you put in your body, what fuel you put in your car, the fuel that you're giving to your children. It's very, very important.
Mm,
You should not be. You should, and I think going down to the shops around here, going to the service station, it's just everywhere. I mean, the local service, the petrol station, gas station, if you like, it's just full of sugar. The whole shop is full of
yeah,
sugar. There's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
nothing good in there at all.
Yeah. And the supermarkets
Just a
too.
nightmare.
It's all
And
sugar.
yep,
mm,
and the kids when they're on school holidays, there's like groups of them, and they're just hanging around the shops looking at what sugar they're going to buy for the next couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
I see it too often, and parents are sitting
Yeah.
there, go get what you want, go get what you want, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
go back and get a video, and you can sit there and eat your lollies and watch videos. No, back in the day it was like get outside.
yeah,
The TV
yeah,
is
Mm-hmm.
not for you.
mm,
You've got a bike. It's a sunny day. Get out.
Yes.
That
yeah,
was it. And I don't want
yeah,
to see you before dinner time.
exactly.
And
That was my
that's how
life.
I was brought
Yep.
up.
And and
And
Sean,
Mhm.
you mentioned family. So how does your family think about what you're eating at the moment? Are they worried about you? What's going on?
They're all quite supportive, really, because they've seen the difference.
Good.
The difference.
due to technical difficulties, this video has been truncated at the end. We will give you some information on how to reach Shaun Scott below, and we hope to continue this conversation with him in a few months. Thank you so much for listening.